Hey friends, welcome to the Big Things Done podcast. Thanks for joining me. I'm Andy Glover. I'm your host, and I am doing my first ever video podcast. I've never done this before. I've always wanted to. It's something that has taken a little bit of time to kind of figure out the logistics of it, but I've had a little bit of time on my hands with the COVID-19 quarantine, as you will. My school is completely shut down, so I've had a couple weeks here to kind of iron some things out, try to get some content, not only in the podcast format like I've been doing, but also in the video format now. So really excited to do this. I wanted to give you a quick kind of beginner episode for me to kind of work out some of the bugs. And I wanted to talk about something very important that I've had a lot of people actually reaching out to me for. And it's the idea about how do we stay in a rhythm and stay focused during these times that are just so crazy, right? We've got people not working from home, or people working from home, right? We've got people who aren't going to school. We've got businesses closing. We can't go to the store, can't go to the brewery like we used to. Like, how do we stay sane? How do we stay focused in a time when everything in life is just jacked up? And so what I wanted to do is just first kind of mention really and just name some of the things that are really kind of throwing off our world and our society. I mean, obviously we have the disease out there, which is crazy, but in addition, right, like a lot of us aren't going to work in the same way we used to. For me, my school has been completely canceled. It's like I'm not doing the things that I used to be doing. And that really throws us off, right? As humans, like we don't know what to do when we have a rhythm, when we have a routine. And for me, I'm a very regimented kind of guy. Like I have to have first thing, second thing, third thing, and I do that over and over and over again every single day because that's just what works for me. Like that's just what I enjoy doing, and that's where I feel comfortable. And I think all of us, we have that in some way, shape, or form, some more than others. But right now, that's all been thrown off, right? The gyms are closed, the breweries are closed. We can't work out, we can't go do social activities, or we just can't do those things that we used to do. So those things are real. They're happening, and we have to deal with them, right? Doesn't mean the world's crumbling around us. Doesn't mean that our life is never going to be the same again. It's probably a temporary thing, but let's just call it for what it is. It's something that's kind of disrupting what we're doing. So how do we get through that? How do we get around that? Well, there's been a lot of talk on various emails that I'm a part of about what you can do, your 10 best techniques to do a video conference at home, right? Working from home. My dental school class, right? They're sending out all sorts of emails on how they're coping with all the changes. But here's 4 things for me that have helped me really stay sane, stay grounded, stay rhythmic, and stay focused, right, in this time when we can just get thrown all over the place. And I will tell you that it has led to me being, honestly, some of the most fulfilled, having some of the most fulfilled moments that I've ever felt in the past year, right, just a couple months, because of what I'm doing. So first thing is I've had to re-baseline my values, right? Things have changed. Our world has changed. What I used to do, I can't do anymore. That means that likely some of the things that I used to do and some of the things I used to value probably aren't going to be there anymore. It used to be that school was my top priority, right? Going to dental school, being a dental student was my top priority. Well, now that I don't have any school, that's not really a priority anymore. So what am I going to slide in there instead from a value standpoint? So for me, like right now, the things that I value in March 2020, being at home, not being able to go to school, is working out, keeping my mind engaged, and feeling healthy. Like those are the 3 things for me that I have to do, and those are the things that I value. And when I build my day, when I build my rhythm and my focus, that's what I'm going to build it around. So rebaselining your values to what really matters to you and what you can control, right, in this certain situation. If social interaction is something that's really important to you, then that means you're going to have to be creative in finding ways to be social, right, in an environment of social distancing, right? Once you rebaseline, what you truly value, and it takes a little bit of time, just sit down and quietly and think about that, list those out. Building consistency in your life around the things that you can control is very important. And I'm talking about basic stuff here. I'm talking about like when you go to bed, when you wake up, right? Super easy if you're working from home or you don't have any responsibilities like me, just to sleep in or, go to bed super late, right? That biological rhythm of going to bed and waking up at the same time, I'm not going to get into the science of it, but I tell you that there are many studies, many professors, many experts who tell you that there's a benefit to going to bed and waking up at a certain time, even when things are all over the place, or maybe because things are all over the place. That gives you some sort of consistency and some sort of focus and rhythm that you can ground yourself to launch off of in other activities you want to go do. Even like when it goes to eating, right? Like eating the same things or eating the same things you would eat normally, right? At relatively the same times. Like that's important. It keeps your biological biological clock regular, and it keeps you focused on doing certain tasks in certain blocks of time that you're generally used to doing. That brings that consistency, and it helps you maintain your focus kind of throughout these days when, man, there's just no structure. Even the clothes you wear, like waking up and just working in your pajamas, sometimes from a mental standpoint for me, it helps me just to change my clothes into something I would have been wearing if I would have gone to the office, right? It just mentally, it puts me in the frame of mind of getting work done. And then I'm going to go work out. I'm going to change into my workout clothes, and I'm going to do my workout in those clothes. And it helps me kind of put my mind into different buckets and different frames so I can execute properly. Even the spaces you occupy, like not sitting in bed, working on your laptop, working from home, right? But physically going to a different location, that helps our minds reset and just adjust to a different task, a different level of focus, and a different mental effort that we're going to have to go accomplish. All right, so we talked about rebaselining. We talked about building in some consistency, even just small things, right? It makes a big difference, especially in times like this. The third thing I would just say really quickly is managing your inputs. When we are bored, when we don't have that same stimulus, right, from our coworkers or from our friends that we're used to, right, we look for other things to fill that gap. And one of the biggest ways we do that is by the news, right? And the news would love for us to just sit around and do nothing but consume their content. But the fact is, you and I watching the news, like every single minute of every single day, doesn't affect how we live. It doesn't. It has almost zero bearing on the choices we're going to make, right? It's just simply entertainment. It's just something to entertain us. And the news knows that. And that's why they make the news the way they do, right? Sensationalize it. They over exaggerate things, right? Or skew the truth to try to draw you in and suck you in. And there's just no benefit to that. I think it's really important to just spend 5 minutes in the morning catching up on the news that happened the day before and just understanding what you're going to be getting into for the next day. And that's it. There's no more benefit to reading the news more than about 5 minutes a day. I don't find any more value in that. Managing also your social media accounts. I'm not going to get into that because everybody's is very different and everybody's approach to that is different. But just be mindful of the fact that we are looking for ways to stimulate ourselves, and it's very tempting to use social media as a way to fill that. But I've got a suggestion for you instead on a way that you can fill that even in a better way. And that leads to my fourth thing, right, which is doing things that bring you fulfillment. Now, if you know me and you know who I am and what I do, you would have expected that I would have said, you've got to do something that makes you productive, right? That makes you do something, right? Well, for me, yeah, like that's really important. I need to be productive, and that's how I feel valuable. But in reality, that's not what I think is truly needed in this time right now, especially for everybody from a broad perspective. What you need is to fill your life with something that gives you fulfillment. What inspires you? What excites you? What makes you feel worthy? What makes you feel accomplished? What makes you feel proud at the end of the day? Like, man, I'm really glad that I did something. Or, man, look what I just accomplished. Like, that to me is worth doing. It's something I'm really proud of. I don't know what that is for you, but for me, I kind of lump it into a couple different buckets, right? The first thing is learning something, right? So if you've got time off or you're just not really doing a whole lot, finding a good book to read and learning about a new concept, maybe taking a masterclass. I've taken a masterclass, or I'm doing it right now, on negotiation with Chris Voss. It's a super interesting masterclass about how to negotiate and create deals. I'm taking a Udemy course right now on video editing, which is actually kind of why I'm doing some of this podcasting stuff. Like, I'm constantly learning stuff. I've just started my 9th book of 2020, and I'm really excited. It's called Think Fast, Think Slow, and I'm really excited to get into it. Right? Learning something, that makes me feel fulfilled, right? Whatever that learning mechanism is for you, find that, because I guarantee that's going to be something that's fulfilling for you. A second thing is just creating something, right? Now, this isn't necessarily being productive, right? Maybe it's just creating, maybe it's drawing, maybe it's creating a podcast, maybe it's learning how to shoot new video, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's writing, like whatever that is, create something, build something from nothing with the skills that you have. That can lead to really great fulfillment. Physical fitness, obviously, guys, working out, super important. If you're not working out, if you don't have physical fitness as a regular part of your day, I'm not really sure why you don't, because it is extremely potent, right, to make you a better human being, helps you think better, helps you act better, gives you longer longevity, better health. Like, I mean, there's so many benefits. Why you're not working out already if you're not, I don't know, but it leads to a very fulfilling life because you're pushing yourself, you're pushing your body to doing things that you didn't think you could do and making your body better. I'm not sure what's more fulfilling than that, to be honest with you. So guys, those are my 4 tips on how you can be focused and stay in a rhythm in these times when our schedules are just jacked up, man. I feel for you. I know that we've got a lot of people who are watching this right now who are struggling, right? Who maybe you've lost your job, maybe you're laid off, maybe you're furloughed, maybe you're a small business owner. You have no idea what you're going to be doing. Hey, I feel for you. I've got a couple different podcasts about leading through a crisis and how to manage and adapt well to these uncertain times. You can check them out on Big Things Done podcast on iTunes and Spotify. In the meantime, though, use these 4 things, build them into your life, build that consistency, and I guarantee we're going to come out of this coronavirus season much better and much more aware, much more fulfilled, and be ready to go